Europe abandoned Trump, so Trump is abandoning Europe. March 11, 2025. America can no longer be considered an ally of Europe, said Dominique de Villepin, once France's foreign minister, and now presidential hopeful, to Swedish journalist Martin Gelin. Friedrich Merz, the incoming German chancellor, called separately for real independence from the USA. It's safe to say that Europe has not taken the decision of Donald Trump to effectively end his nation's existing support structure for Ukraine well, which European leaders acting in a manner medically consistent with the extreme shock. That an American leader could publicly chastise Zelensky, threaten to cut off aid, and disparage NATO through official Oval Office comments is too much to bear. Europeans still don't get it. De Villepin believes America, like Russia and China, is an illiberal superpower, but he and other Europeans are missing two important trends. First, the US has had enough of European free-riding. Second, that Trump is going hard after China, and as a result is focusing far less on other regional concerns. Trump and predecessors have been trying to get NATO signatories to spend at least 2% of gross domestic product on defense. There was progress last year as countries crossed the threshold for the first time, but European members and Canada are still not devoting sufficient resources to the common defense. Trump finally got tired of pleading, pressuring, and cajoling, so after 2 invasions of Ukraine he finally walked away. Europe abandoned its own defense, so Trump is abandoning Europe. No one should be surprised the continent had decades of warning. At the same time, Trump is pulling what is now known as the reverse Nixon, in other words, wooing Russia to isolate China. At first, he let China off the hook. Most notably, Trump paused the implementation of the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, also known as the TikTok law. Moreover, Trump tried to reach out to Xi Jinping with, among other things, an unprecedented invitation to the inauguration. The American leader made it known he wanted an invitation to Beijing during the first 100 days of his new term. Since then, however, just about everything he's doing has had a China hawk angle. Trump in 2 tranches imposed a 20% across-the-board tariff on Chinese goods, announced 25% steel and aluminium tariffs hitting Chinese producers hard. China's leaders, unlike Europe's, realize the significance of the moves. If the US has another agenda in mind, and if war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson announced Tuesday in response to the second 10% tariff. Trump believes that the Chinese economy is fragile and will not grow around 5%, Premier Li Qiang's growth target for the year. America's leader knows that now is the time to hit Beijing hard. As Trump understands, economic security is national security and China is a direct national security threat. European leaders should pay attention to what he has been saying and doing. By The Telegraph, story by Gordon Chang, March 11, 2025.